Welcome back. We were talking to our guest today, Muhammad Ghazali Khan, about various aspects of politics in India and also how Muslims are coping with it particularly and the minorities in general. See, recently, Mr. Khan, the topic of Islamic Sharia and particularly the three talaq, the divorce, was talk of the town. Everybody was talking about it. All the newspapers are full of it. How have Muslims taken to this? Is it a High Court order, isn't it?
Supreme Court.
Supreme Court order.
There is a great confusion among the Muslims.
Let me recap it. So the Supreme Court says that the three talaq does not constitute as one talaq or three talaq.
Yeah, what the Supreme Court said, it has asked the government.
Yeah.
They said it is unconstitutional,
Right.
and the government should think about legislation on this aspect. Muslims, a majority of Muslims in Indian subcontinent are Hanafi.
Yes.
They follow a Hanafi school of thought, but it is not only Hanafi who believe in instant or triple talaq in one sitting. All four imams believe in it. What the Supreme Court said, that this is the instant talaq or the three talaqs in one sitting, it should be banned.
Yes.
And if it was just banning three talaq, probably many or a section of Muslims would have welcomed it, especially
many of the divorced women would not be divorced then.
Yeah, that's true, but the implications are far more wider.
Right.
The fear is that it will give an opportunity to the government to interfere in Muslim personal law itself. For example, tomorrow they may come up with a suggestion that inheritance on gender equality issue, they may demand it should be changed.
Who knows, that must be on the cards somewhere.
Well, I have no doubt, because the emphasis is for a uniform civil code. They want one code for all Indians,
yes.
Although it is not practical. They cannot do it for various tribes,
right,
in Assam or maybe in Gujarat and other places.
Mizoram.
They have their own customs and rights. So a uniform civil code is just unthinkable in India. It will create a backlash among Hindus themselves. So I don't think Muslims need to worry about that.
Right. Okay, we move from that topic. These extreme or cult-based organizations in India, do they have international wings? Do they have anything in Europe?
Oh yes, this is very interesting. RSS, the militant Hindu organization, which has been creating all these problems in India, they have branches in various countries, including Middle East,
right,
and one very active branch in UK as well. It is here. It is not called RSS. It is called HSS.
When you said it's creating troubles, what sort of trouble do they create?
Well, it is this organization which is behind all these anti-Muslim riots.
Right.
And let me give you just one quote.
Just anti-Muslim riots or anti-minority?
Anti-minority riots, mainly Muslims, but they are targeting Muslims, Christians, Dalits, and in one or two incidents they have even attacked Sikhs as well. But here I give you one quote from the founder of RSS, Goldwelker. In his book he writes, in which he wants India to be a Hindu state, and in a Hindu state, what should be the status of minorities? This is what he writes: the foreign races means
Yes, yes.
Muslims and Christians
Right.
mainly. The foreign races must either adopt Hindu culture and language, must learn to respect and hold in reverence Hindu religion, must entertain no idea but those of the glorification of the Hindu race and culture, that is, of Hindu nation, and must lose their separate existence to merge in Hindu race, or may stay in the country wholly subordinated to the Hindu nation, claiming nothing, deserving no privilege, far less any preferential treatment, not even citizens' rights.
Right. So how would they live? They just not just integrate, but assimilate completely.
Assimilate and live like virtual
Right.
slaves.
Right.
So this is their ideology. This is how.
But then so many things can be written. Is it practical in today's India? This economic giant that India is today.
Well, they are trying their best to make it like that. It has become difficult for Muslims to travel in buses and trains. There have been public lynchings just on the pretext and on the allegation that someone was carrying beef with him. He's attacked and killed.
Yes.
And no action taken. No one comes to the rescue of the person.
They have the largest number of cows and buffaloes in India. You see, and they export it, and they're one of the biggest exporters.
Yes, they are biggest exporter. And as someone rightly commented, that probably the idea is to deprive Muslims and the Dalits of their livelihood, and to let the big companies take up this business.
But how do you see this? There's a lot of hundreds of cows, I understand, at the time of this time, when this time of the Qurbani, the Eid al-Adha, they cross over to Pakistan, and some of them are they cross over to Bangladesh. You see, how do you see that? Isn't this in contradiction to all these things?
Well, I think in cases like that, there is some mutual cooperation between the farmers of these countries. Right. Probably, as I heard years ago, Pakistani farmers, they send some buffaloes to Indian side, and the Indian side send cows into Pakistan. I don't know how true is that, but there
are pictures of cows being smuggled into other countries, bordering countries. See, because particularly this time where they are needed to be slaughtered as part of the annual Eid al-Adha.
Yes. Well, that may be the possibility, but I think in an environment like this, where cow vigilantes are roaming everywhere, I think anyone doing such an act will think twice.
But as you said, that there are people who are doing it on an organized basis, and probably in border areas on a very high scale, so that they escape the wrath of the vigilantes. That could be possible, isn't it? Because it's being done as a business.
Yet, for farmers in Indian subcontinent, not only in India, cattle farming is one of the sources of earning. So, in India, because of this ban, the prices of animals have gone down. Farmers cannot sell their unproductive cows. So what are they going to do? They just leave it on the streets.
Right.
And the poor cows, they are having to eat plastic bags and dying because of that. So it has it is creating several problems for various communities. It is not only for Muslims.
Yeah, I've seen in Delhi, Ajmer, and the other what you call Pink City. Jaipur, uncared for cows roaming around here and there. See, and for tourists, it's a problem because they want to take pictures of the buildings, in a nice environment, but the cows are sitting there in front.
This is a problem for everyone. It is difficult to sometimes drive on
Yes.
the cow sitting there and
right in the middle of the road.
Yeah, you cannot do anything. I think 1 month ago there was an accident somewhere in which someone tried to save the cow while driving,
Yeah.
and incidentally to save the cow he ran over
And died.
some youth.
You wrote an article some time ago about Muslim, a history of repeated betrayals. Could you just sum it in a couple of minutes?
Well, this was a long article giving a history of how Hindutva has always been in place in India. So in that I gave a history of how it was during Congress's rule that the minority character of Aligarh Muslim University was challenged, or the Babri Mosque was unlocked. It was unlocked later on, but first the idols were put inside it during Congress's rule, and no one was punished. The district magistrate who allowed it became an MP. And also this question of uniform civil code, it has been hanging like a sword on the head of Muslims since 1947, when in the directive principles of the Constitution, uniform civil code was suggested for India everywhere. So I talked about all these issues.
Right.
None of the issues none of the challenges Muslims are facing today has been created by BJP. All was started by Congress. BJP just took the advantage of it, and they have been giving different names and adopting different
different sentiments.
Yes, sentiments. They keep on changing their strategy. For example, sometimes they would come up with the love jihad, sometimes cow protection, and things like that.
You know, this I mentioned earlier, this cosmetic appointment of Muslims as presidents. Do you think that they have betrayed their own community, the Muslim presidents? They could be more effective?
No, a president in India.
I know it's his rubber stamp.
Yes, and he is very powerless, and they just could not think of doing anything positive. Just I give you one example. Mr. Hamid Ansari, who was our previous vice president, in an interview, he was asked about Muslim situation in India, and he said, yes, Muslims feel insecure. Just making that an example, the Prime Minister attacked him in farewell address, attacked him in the Parliament, going as far as suggesting that he has a particular mindset because he has been an ambassador in Central Asia, because he has been a vice chancellor of Aligarh Muslim University, and because his family had played a role in Khilafat movement. Interestingly, I mean, it did not.
Well, it's all very interesting, Muhammad Ghazali Khan. We have come to the conclusion of this program, and thank you very much for being with us and for shared your views about this giant of a country called India. It's an economic power, and possibly it's going to be number 2 in a few years' time, as the predictions say. Thank you very much for being with us, viewers. We hope that you've enjoyed the show as much as we have. In the meantime, take care of yourself. Next time when we meet with another distinguished guest, it will be next Friday, I hope. Eid Mubarak to you all. Thank you.